Hello, good morning everyone. Uh, Today we'll discuss about antenna and its parameters. So we'll go for antenna and its parameter. So first we'll go for what do you mean by antenna and its parameters. So first, what are the principle behind that EMF field? So there are two laws from the Maxwell equations. That is, first one, a moving electric field creates a magnetic field, and a moving magnetic field creates an electric field. So what is an antenna? For example, if a person wants to communicate with the other person for an idea or a doubt, so it can be through by voice communication. If two persons are communicating with each other, so obviously we know that the communication takes place through sound waves, and they are the distance between the two persons will be minimum distance or nearby. The same example, if the two people want to communicate at longer distance, then we have to convert these sound waves into electromagnetic waves, because at long distance uh, through sound waves it can be attenuated. So we need a device which converts the required information signal into electromagnetic waves, which is termed as antenna. So we can say antenna is a transducer which converts an electrical power into electromagnetic waves, and in the receiver side again the electromagnetic waves into electric power. An antenna can be used either as a transmitting antenna or receiving antenna. That is, it may be used either at the transmitter side or at the receiver side. If you want to receive the signal, then it should be at the receiver side. For example, if you have FM stations, that we no need to transmit the information to the FM radio station. Just we want to receive the signals from the FM station. So we have the receiving antenna to receive the signals. So here in the FM station, they will have only the transmitting antennas. A transmitting antenna which converts the electrical signals into electromagnetic waves, and it will radiate them. Default that we know that antenna is there, then the between transmitting and receiving will be our air, that is free space. A receiving antenna is one which converts electromagnetic waves from the received beam into electric signals. For example, if you go for two-way communication, the same antenna can be used for our both transmission and reception. So what is the need for antenna? So in the field of communication systems, so whenever there is a need for wireless communication arises, then there is a necessity of antenna. We know that the antenna has the capability of sending or receiving the electromagnetic waves for communication. The evolution of wireless technology has made this whole process is very simple based on antenna, because antenna is the a key element of this wireless technology. In today's digital world, all the transmissions are going on digital, so we need antenna. So what is the radiation mechanism in antenna? Antenna, whether it transmits or receives, or it is going for done both, that is transmitting or receiving, it can be connected to a circuit at a station through a transmission line. Mainly the function of the antenna depends on the radiation mechanism of the transmission line. For example, you take a conductor which is designed to carry some current over the large distances with minimum losses, which in turn is referred as a transmission line. If the power has to be radiated, so the current conduction is with uniform velocity, then the wire or the transmission line should be bent or truncated or terminated. For example, the device or the tube uh, want to radiate energy by bending or terminating, then it can be termed as waveguides. These waveguides are especially used for the microwave transmission or microwave reception. The power from the transmission line travels through the waveguide, which has an aperture to radiate the energy. So now we'll go for basic types of antenna. The antennas can be divided based on the physical structure of an antenna. That is the first one, physical structure. The second one, based on the frequency range. And third one, mode of applications. So nowadays we can see a lot of antennas. For example, for mobile tower also you can see that a lot of antennas with different physical structures. Same way, with respect to the frequency of operation, we have a types of antenna. Then again, with the modes of application, we have the types of antenna. So based on physical structure, we have wire antennas, aperture antennas, reflector antennas, lens antennas, microstrip antennas, and array antennas. If you go for frequency of operations, so we have a very low frequency range. That is, the frequency range is up to 3 to 30 kilohertz. Then same in terms of wavelength, it may be 10 to 100 kilometer. Then you go for low frequency, 30 to 300 kilohertz. Wavelength will be 1 meter to 10 kilometer. Then you go for medium frequency range. It has the frequency range of 300 kilohertz to 3 megahertz, and wavelength range is 100 meter to 1 kilometer. If you go for high frequency range, 3 to 30 megahertz, and the wavelength range is 10 to 100 meter. If you go for very high frequency, then the frequency range is 30 to 300 megahertz, and the wavelength range will be 1 to 10 meter. If you go for ultra high frequency range, that is 300 megahertz to 3 gigahertz, and the wavelength range is 10 centimeter to 1 meter. When you go for super high frequency range, then the range will be 3 to 30 gigahertz, then the wavelength range will be 1 to 1 centimeter. That is 1 meter to 1 centimeter. Then what are the modes of applications? If you go for applications, for antenna, we can have point-to-point communication, broadcasting applications, radar communications, and satellite communications. Now we'll discuss the following parameters, that is what do you mean by frequency, wavelength, impedance matching, VSWR, that is voltage standing wave ratio, and reflected power, and bandwidth, and percentage bandwidth, radiation intensity, directivity, antenna efficiency, and antenna aperture antenna also we'll discuss. First, what do you mean by frequency? We know that the rate of a repetition of a wave over a particular period of time is called as frequency. Or a periodic wave repeats itself every t seconds. That is, a periodic wave repeats itself after every t seconds. That is can be referred as frequency. We know that f is directly proportional to 1 by t. That is reciprocal of time period. So f will be the frequency of periodic wave. T is the time period at which the wave repeats. Then the unit of frequency is hertz. Then we go for wavelength. The distance between the two consecutive maximum points, or between the maximum minimum, or between the two consecutive minimum points, is known as wavelength. That is the distance between two immediate positive peaks or two immediate negative peaks. That is the length of that wave is termed as wavelength. The unit of wavelength is meter, or it can be sometimes it can be feet, or sometimes it can be inches. But commonly it is used terms is meter. Next, we'll discuss about impedance matching. Impedance matching is very important in the transmitting side and also in the receiving side. The approximate value of impedance of a transmitter when equals the approximate value of the impedance of a receiver, or vice versa, it is termed as impedance matching. That is, the impedance should be matched at the transmitter side and also at the receiver side. So it is necessary between the antenna. The impedance of the antenna and the transmission line and the circuit should match so that the maximum power transfer takes place between the antenna and the receiver or the transmitter. So what is the necessity of matching? For example, a resonant device is one which gives the better output at certain narrow band of frequencies. We know that the antennas or resonant devices whose impedance, if matched, then delivers a better output. The power radiated by an antenna will be the effectively radiated if the antenna impedance matches the free space impedance. If, for example, for a receiver antenna, the antenna's output impedance should match with the input impedance of the receiver amplifier circuit. Same way for a transmitting antenna, the antenna's input impedance should match with the transmitter's amplifier output impedance along with the transmission line impedance. We know that the unit of impedance is ohm. Then we'll go for VSWR, that is voltage standing wave ratio. It defines that the ratio of the maximum voltage to the minimum voltage in a standing wave is referred as voltage standing wave ratio. If the impedance of the antenna, the transmission line, and the circuits does not match with each other, then the power will not be radiated effectively. So some of the power will be reflected back. That is, we can get some reflection losses. If there is no reflection losses, then we can say there is impedance matching is perfect. Some of the key features are the term which indicates the impedance mismatch is voltage standing wave ratio. It is also called a standing wave ratio. The higher the impedance mismatch, the higher will be the value of VSWR. If the impedance mismatch is high between the transmitting side and the receiving side, then the VSWR value also will be high. The ideal value of VSWR will be 1:1 for effective radiation. Then the reflected power is the power wasted out of the forward power. Both reflected power and the VSWR indicate the same thing. That is, if reflected power is more, again we can't get the uh, uh, effective information or we can't get the effective radiation. Same way, if VSWR value is high, again we can say there is an impedance mismatch. Next, we'll discuss about bandwidth. We know that bandwidth, a band of frequencies in a wavelength specified for the a particular communication, is known as bandwidth. For example, when the signal is transmitted or received over a certain range of frequencies, the particular range of frequencies are allotted to a particular signal so that other signals may not interfere with in its transmission. So bandwidth is the band of frequencies between the higher and lower frequencies over which a signal is transmitted. The bandwidth once allotted for some signal and it can't be used for other type of signals or it can't be used for other signals. So that only the whole spectrum is divided into bandwidths to allot to different transmitters. The whole spectrum can be divided into either in terms of frequency or either in terms of time. Next, how to find the percentage of bandwidth. The ratio of absolute bandwidth to the center frequency of that bandwidth can be termed as a percentage bandwidth. That is the particular frequency within a frequency band at which the signal strength is maximum is called as resonant frequency, and it is also called as center frequency, that is F suffix C. The higher and lower frequencies are denoted as FH and FL respectively. So we know that how to find the bandwidth. Generally, the bandwidth will be low frequency minus high frequency. That is the difference between the high frequency minus low frequency. To know that how wide the bandwidth is, or either the fractional bandwidth or the percentage bandwidth to calculate. Next, we will discuss about radiation intensity. So radiation intensity is defined as the power per unit solid angle. The radiation emitted from an antenna, which is more intense in a particular direction, indicates the maximum intensity of the antenna. The emission of a radiation to a maximum possible extent is nothing but the radiation intensity. So it can be obtained by multiplying the power radiated with the square of the radial distance. The unit of radiation intensity is watts per steradian or watts per radian square. So radiation intensity of an antenna is closely related to the direction of the beam focused and the efficiency of the beam towards that direction. Next, we'll go for directivity. The ratio of maximum radiation intensity of the subject antenna to the radiation intensity of an isotropic or reference antenna. Isotropic antenna means that radiates equally in all directions. Of an isotropic or reference antenna radiating the same total power is called directivity. For example, if the antenna radiates power, but the direction in which it radiates matters a lot. And the antenna whose performance is being observed is termed as a subject antenna. Its radiation intensity is focused in a particular direction while it is either in transmitting side or receiving side. Hence, the antenna is said to be to have its directivity in a particular direction. The ratio of the radiation intensity in a given direction from an antenna to the radiation intensity average over all directions is termed as directivity. If the particular direction is not specified, then the direction in which maximum intensity is observed can be taken as a directivity of an antenna. Next, the directivity of a non-isotropic antenna is equal to the ratio of radiation intensity in a given direction to the radiation intensity of the isotropic source. In terms of mathematical expressions, we can see the radiated power is a function of the angular position and the radial distance from the circuit. Hence, it is expressed by considering both the terms theta and phi. So the directivity can be defined as the maximum radiation intensity of subject antenna to the radiation intensity of an isotropic antenna. So the pi theta by pi max is the maximum radiation and pi naught is the radiation intensity of an isotropic antenna, that is antenna with zero losses, isotropic antenna. Then we'll go for aperture efficiency. So aperture efficiency of an antenna is the ratio of the effective radiating area or the effective area to the physical area of the aperture. An antenna has an aperture through which the power is radiated. This radiation should be effective with minimum losses. The physical area of the aperture should also be taken into consideration as the effectiveness of the radiation depends upon the area of the aperture physically on the antenna. In terms of mathematical expressions, the aperture efficiency can be calculated at effective area to the physical area. That is, A suffix EFF will be the effective area, A suffix P will be the physical area. Then we can discuss about antenna efficiency. So now to find how the antenna is working, what is the efficiency of the antenna at both in the transmitting side and the receiver side. Antenna efficiency is the ratio of the radiated power of the antenna to the input power accepted by the antenna. Simply, an antenna is meant to radiate power given at its input with minimum losses. The efficiency of an antenna explains how much an antenna is able to deliver its output effectively with minimum losses in the transmission line. It is also be called as a radiation efficiency factor of the antenna. So in terms of mathematical expressions, we can see the antenna efficiency is the ratio of power radiated to the input power of the antenna. So that is P suffix RAD is the power radiated power and divided by P input, that is input power of the antenna. Then next one is important thing, that antenna gain. How to find the gain of an antenna? The gain of an antenna is the ratio of the radiation intensity in a given direction to the radiation intensity that would be obtained if the power accepted by the antenna were radiated isotopically. For example, simply the gain of an antenna takes the directivity of antenna into the account along with its effective performance. If the power accepted by the antenna was radiated isotopically, that means that is radiating equally in all directions, then the radiation intensity we can get, that will be taken as a reference. The term antenna gain describes that how much power is transmitted in the direction of peak radiation to that of an isotropic source. We know that the gain is usually measured in terms of decibel. So unlike directivity, antenna gain take the losses that occurs into the account and focuses on the efficiency. In terms of mathematically, antenna gain can be calculated as antenna's efficiency into the directivity of an antenna. We know that the unit of gain is decibels, or we can write dB. Next, polarization. We know that basics about polarization of an antenna. So when electromagnetic field is composed of electric and magnetic lines of forces that are orthogonal to each other, the orientation of electric field in a particular direction is called polarization. The electric field determines the direction of polarization of the wave, that is vertical polarization, horizontal polarization, and circular polarization. If you see for vertical polarization, that is electric force lines which lie in a vertical direction. Same way, if you go for horizontal, the electric force lines should lie on a horizontal directions. For circular polarization, the electric force lines rotate 360 degrees every cycle. So antenna extracts maximum energy from a passing electromagnetic wave when it is oriented in the same direction as electric field. If you use vertical antenna for efficient reception of vertically polarized waves, same way for horizontal antenna we used for horizontal polarized wave. If electric field rotates as the wave travels through spaces, then the wave should have both horizontal and vertical components. Simply we can say the polarization of an antenna is the orientation of the electric field, that is E plane, of the radio wave with respect to the earth surface, and it can be determined by the physical structure of an antenna by its orientation. For example, a simple straight wire antenna will have only one polarization when mounted vertically, and it will have a different polarization when it is mounted horizontally. Then the reflections generally affects the polarization. For example, for radio waves, the most important reflector is the ionosphere. Signals which reflect from it will have their polarization changed. So we can see how the polarization for magnetic field and the vertical field and the direction of the propagation. And also you can see how the vertically linear polarized electric field, and you can see how the horizontally linear polarized electric fields. So thank you. Till now we have discussed the basics about the antenna and its parameters. In the next session, we'll discuss in detail about the antenna's parameters. Thank you. I hope it is easy for understanding the antenna and its parameters. In the next session or in the next class, we'll discuss about uh, all the antenna parameters which are left out, and we'll see the types of antennas in detail. Thank you so much. Thank you.